This is the Final Whistle podcast from the Wrexham AFC media team.
The final score, Aldershot Town 2, Wrexham 0. No one has done to Wrexham this season what Aldershot have just done. Wrexham, best defence in the division, quite rightly, all those clean sheets, but Aldershot's attacking play was absolutely magnificent, and frankly Wrexham just couldn't handle it in the first half. It was 2-0 at half time. Wrexham came into it more in the second half, but well, by then Aldershot were protecting the lead and were in their comfort zone, and as you'll hear when I describe it, actually very little happened really in the second half. Aldershot's just seen their way through to an excellent 3 points. Wrexham was still equal top as second, but with equal top as Sutton, and we shouldn't panic, I think, too much. The fact of the matter is, I think we've come across the best attacking side in the division on a perfect day, but everything worked for them. But anyway, the game started off, both sides unchanged after having recent victories, and the game started off with Aldershot immediately popping the ball around. I mean, in analysing them beforehand, it was difficult to read their midfield three. They switch positions so swiftly. Nominally, McDonald is the holding man. He'll drop and split the centre backs. Nominally, Rowe will get up and support the strikers, but they can switch over very swiftly, and that fluidity Wrexham found extremely hard to deal with, and from the very start you could see there were going to be problems. You could see that the midfield were just not sure who to pick up. The front three's movement was terrific as well. Mendy and Robert switching flanks, both of them dropping very deep. Fenelon willing to chase from side to side in the box, and it was a terrific swirl of movement. All pre-organised, all beautifully coordinated, lovely passes, lovely first touches, lovely little triangles. And Wrexham found themselves chasing shadows, but managed to, because they are a robust defensive side, hang on in the first 10 minutes without conceding any opportunities, and then had a decent little 5-minute spell when it looked like they were going to pull themselves back into it a bit. However, they were then struck a cruel blow in the 15th minute when Aldershot took the lead. It was a disappointing goal in some ways to concede. McDonald, the midfielder, driving forwards, got a bit lucky. He rode two challenges. Wrexham, I think, will feel they should have snuffed the move out there. He helped the ball on into the box. Fenelon on the right-hand side drove in a powerful cross shot across the face of goal, and Mendy, standing at the far post in front of an open goal, couldn't miss. It hit him, went in, and Aldershot had the lead, and for about 5 minutes or so it looked worryingly like it was going to get doubled and Wrexham would be swept away. A nice piece of breakaway play ending with Robert picking the ball up and driving it in to Fenelon. Fenelon down the left channel, one-on-one with Dunn, probably should have scored, drove it across the keeper, just shaved the right post and went behind for a goal kick. But Wrexham started to hold themselves back into it, and around the half-hour mark were a couple of moments, one of which was absolutely key. Firstly, Carrington doing really well down the left-hand side, feeding it forwards. The ball was picked up by Holroyd, who, it's got to be said, amidst the carnage of the first half, was impressive. We did really well working on scraps, dropping into the hole and picking the ball up, working the ball around well, and looked very, very lively. So Holroyd there, dropping onto the left flank, swinging in a great cross to the far post. Rutherford was there at close range. He opted to square the ball in. He probably should have gone for goal himself, smashing it into the goal mouth and seeing what happened, and the chance was gone. It was nothing as compared to the chance a minute later. Alex Reid, with a great chance in his last appearance for Wrexham before his loan spell expired. Roberts knocking it over the top, and Reid running a one-on-one with the keeper, all on his own. Now, to be fair, Waters very quick to come off his line and narrow the angles. Reid put it wide of the left post, trying to feed it into the bottom left corner. He really should have scored, and the importance of that miss was illustrated a couple of minutes later when the score was 2-0. Another goal which Wrexham will be very disappointed to have conceded because of the nature in which it went in. Again, they had chances to close it down. It was an excellent move in the build-up, which ended with the ball being played into the box, and Fenelon from 15 yards out trying a scissors kick, which he was a bit unlucky with. It hit his teammate Robert standing in front of Dunn. Dunn was already lunging low to his left to try and make an interception, and the ball ricocheted away, and when it fell out of the area, Wrexham weren't able to take advantage. It came back out. Kelman lashed a terrific shot from 25 yards, hit the underside of the bar, dropped down. Aldershot was housing, was over the line. It bounced back up. Fenlon decided to make sure, beat Dunn to it, and knocked it in the net 2-0. And it looked at that point like it was going to be an absolute pounding. Wrexham did have an opportunity a few minutes later. Rutherford bursting down the flank and pulling in a good ball to the edge of the area. Reid attacking it off balance and putting it a long way over the bar. And then in the last minute of the half, well, quite frankly, Wrexham very, very fortunate not to go down to 10 men. An excellent counter-attack by Aldershot. Fenlon got beyond Carrington and was one-on-one with the keeper down the right channel. Carrington fouled him. So, to my eyes, my biased eyes as a Wrexham supporter, a blatant red card. There was nobody going to come across and cover. Admittedly, it was to the right of the D, but not so wide that he wasn't going to get a shot in. He was one-on-one with Dunn. Carrington fouled him, had to be a red. Referee, despite lengthy protests from the Aldershot players, pulled out a yellow. Carrington extremely fortunate. The free kick itself, McDonnell hitting it on the keeper's side round the corner of a big wall. The last man in the ball stuck his foot out and deflected it nastily into the corner. Dunn did really well to get low down to his right and save it. And so at half-time, Wrexham went back in and somehow had to reorganise, and you just wondered how they would manage to effectively reorganise themselves in the face of such an onslaught. The movement of the front three, the interchange of the midfield three, and the way they came up to support those strikers, movement both sideways and forwards and backwards, really was pulling Wrexham all over the place. It was relentless. In commentary, I said it was like having the formation team with the red arrows coming at them from all angles, interchanging positions, and really difficult to read. The thing I wanted to say in the commentary was, not to submit Calon FM's listeners to it, was it reminded me when I was a kid and I went to Chester Zoo, and an orangutan by the entrance just started grabbing his own feces and throwing it at us. There was no way to escape it. It was coming at us from all angles relentlessly. That's what Aldershot were like, hurling themselves at us relentlessly from all angles. Well, the second half did actually change, and it was better for Wrexham. But let's not kid ourselves here. The main reason why was because Aldershot had a 2-goal lead. They needed to maybe protect that game, didn't have to go out and chase it anymore, and they were playing a bit more conservatively. There were still, elements of the snappy passing and the fluent attacking play from them, but they weren't having to commit men forwards, try and open us up. Wrexham as well, to their credit, did put some more organisation into things. They battled away. They made attacking substitutions. McCrath and Masanka came on. Kelly went central, and those changes did help Wrexham a little bit. But in all honesty, as I said earlier, it was a second half short of incident. In fact, the best opportunity fell to Aldershot 7 minutes into it. And again, lovely patient passing. Wrexham penned in deep. Ended with Rowe finding a bit of space in the hole and flicking the ball in towards the penalty spot. Robert, who moments earlier had been deeper in his own midfield, had arrived undetected of a great run and tried a lunging 15-yard diving header. He flicked it accurately towards the bottom left corner, and Dunn did really well to get across. Strong wrists to parry it and get the ball away to safety. That was about it in terms of what Aldershot created, really, but they were in the comfort zone. They were defending solidly, protecting the ball well. Wrexham getting desperate, trying more and more to make something happen. As Masanka was making a bit of a difference. One good ball over the top sends him through down the left-hand side. The movement inside the box wasn't helping him, so he cut in and hit a shot which was deflected over. And from the corner, a really good punch by Ward, attacking it 6 yards out. But there was very little to report. Wrexham got the ball into the net in the 91st minute, but it was offside. A ball played forwards. Masanka flagged offside, did well to nod it down to Holroyd, but frankly, well, that was it. Wrexham struggling to create, in all honesty. In midfield, they toiled. The Keelwright taken off early. Could have been Wedgbury just as easily. The midfield found it difficult. McCrath on the right-hand side got into such dangerous positions, but struggled to find that killer ball when he came on as a sub. Rutherford was diligent, struggled to do so. Kelly did better when he came central. But in all honesty, there was little really that Wrexham could do. They met Aldershot, as Paul said in the commentary, on a perfect day. They were terrific, Aldershot, and there was nothing Wrexham could do to deal with them. So you hold your hands up sometimes and admit you've been beaten by the better side, and Wrexham certainly were. Have a listen now to what Paul, Andy and I made of things on Calon FM after the match. Well, we can't argue with that. Wrexham lose 2-0, and credit to Aldershot. I think first and foremost, a tremendous performance by them.
Yes, first half certainly, second half not so much, but first half it was men against boys. Deservedly 2-0 up. We should have had something in that first half, though. We did have one golden chance by our now departed striker Reid, and of course from now on, unless he brings someone else in, we're down to 3 strikers.
Absolutely right, and that's something that Peter's bound to look to address. But Aldershot just devastating in the first half, Andy, and it's very tempting to look at that more really than the fact that Rex struggled to deal with it, I think.
Yeah, very much so, and given Wreckham's second half performance, it was much better. I think Aldershot had a good day at the office in the first half. All their balls went to feet, and everything they tried came off. And the second half, Aldershot looked a bit scruffy for me.
Yeah. Second half as well, to be fair, they're protecting the lead. They're in the comfort zone. They can drop off. They don't have to make the play. But at least Wrexham, they showed a bit of character in the second half and came into it more.
Yes, we certainly did. But and you saying they were protecting the lead, but they still couldn't play the triangle balls because they weren't working. Certainly better second half. I think your summarisers both agree on a man of the match, which is Holroyd, who ran himself into the ground first half. Didn't have that much able to use in the second half, but we were made to look average in that first half. We're now second in the table, I think. Sutton have gone top, so we haven't actually lost that much.
It's terrific celebrations going on at the Aldershot end. They know what this means. They've taken on the team top of the table, and it just took us apart in the first half. But I mean, other performances, it's hard to pick out, isn't it? Really, you look at the back four, and the second half did okay, but the first half, where they were so exposed by the passing and movement.
Even reliable people like Smith and Pearson got cut apart for the 2 goals. I think we can certainly look at the midfield too. Wright and Wedgbury, they didn't come back to help at that moment, but their passing was sharp, it was crisp, everything they did went to feet, and that's why Aldershot won. In the second half, Wrexham showed more, used the ball a bit better, but again, there's just too many times Wrexham didn't get to the second ball.
Yeah, absolutely true.
Yes, we did show more second half, but we didn't have any chances. And yet in the first half, we were overrun, and we had one certainly golden chance, and we had another break as well, which should have come to something.
Yeah, absolutely. So a frustrating day for Wrexham. 2-0 defeat. And in all honesty, though, I think it's a day more about Aldershot in many ways than Wrexham. Admittedly, we lose that top spot, but the quality of Aldershot's attacking play just showed that they are certainly candidates to challenge at the top of the table. This National League season just becomes more and more intriguing from a neutral point of view, but from our point of view, frustration.
This is the Final Whistle podcast from the Wrexham AFC media team.